Hey everybody, this is Stacy. I am back from the wedding and another little trip I took from Tennessee. And after I made the video with the Master Detective album, a couple of people had asked if I could do a tutorial on that. So I'm here to do a quick tutorial on how I do that album. To start with, you're going to need some chipboard. This is a medium weight chipboard, doesn't matter what color, I just happen to have black. You are going to need 3 pieces that measure 6.5 by 6.5, and then those are your your back and the 2 sides that open. And then you are going to need 2 pieces of chipboard that are 6.5 by 1.5. Instead of 1 inch, my Master Detective album was 1 inch, but I'm going to do something a little bit different with the pages on this album. I'm going to combine a couple tutorials, and I think I've been wanting to do this for a while. I think it'll turn out cool. So 6.5 by 1.5. And then if you use Tyvek, that is great. If not, that's great too. I heard along the way that it, kind of makes your album a little bit stronger, protects the paper, so I use it. If you don't know what Tyvek is, it's made by DuPont. I go to Staples. You can order it in sheets online, but I go to Staples and I get the blank, what are these, envelopes. I get the blank envelopes and then I cut them and open them up and then cut whatever size that I need from them. So your 2 pieces of Tyvek are going to be 6.5 by 4 3/4, and yeah, you'll need 2 of those. So what you're going to do after you get all your pieces cut out, you're going to want to lay them out with enough gap in between so that when you have all your paper and your hinges and everything, you're going to have an easy close. So how you do that, or this is how I do it, and you can see I've already started. I've already done the one side, so I'm going to show you how I do the other side. I use this mat. This is one of these self-healing sewing mats. It's for sewing. I use this thing for everything. You can see it's a dirty mess, but anyways, it's kind of nice because you can get everything nice and square and lined up on this. So what I normally do is, let's see if I can find, okay. What I normally do is I line my pieces up. So I'm going to use this piece, and then here is my last piece of my cover. And what you want to do is, when you do this, and especially when you're using Tyvek, you're going to want your gap a little bit bigger, because I use the Tyvek not only on the spine, but I use it for my hinges too. And so this is, for an example, this is one of my hinges, and it makes it a little bit thicker when it's down in the creases. So you want at least 2 thickness in between. But I like to do 2 thicknesses, and then I want to see a little bit of light in there, almost 3, and you could probably do 3 and it would be okay. So I just take a couple little spare pieces of chipboard that I have, I throw it in here like this, and then I pull it away a little bit, and then we'll do the same thing on this side. Just kind of be careful not to get your stuff, your pieces out of alignment. And pull it away a teeny smidge on this side, and that's probably a little bigger on this side, so I'm just going to move these just a smidge and get them lined up. And then I take my Tyvek and I'm going to put all kinds of glue all over it. So, well, there you go, and I bumped my, I bumped it. That's okay, I'll eyeball it, no big deal. But, so I just put glue all over the Tyvek, and it dries pretty quickly on here, so you don't have to worry about waiting for it to dry and all of that. put a good amount of glue on here because, you know, the cover is going to be covered up, so you're not really going to see it. All right, let me line these back up here. Now I've got glue stuck on my fingers, and these are going to be a little sticky. And then take your little pieces, or your little piece of Tyvek, and you're going to stick that down on there. And let's see, where is my bone folder? I do not know. Here it is. And then I like to squish it down with a bone folder to get it all the way to the edges. Okay, and there you're good. Now you have your cover. The one thing about doing this is the 6.5 by 6.5 cover. The pages are going to be about 6 by 6. Unfortunately, it's not a very good yield of material if you're using 12 by 12s, but you can always go back in and make little smaller mini albums later. So for me, that's no big deal. If you're worried about your yield of material, then yeah, it's not very good. It's not very good on the 12 by 12 pieces of chipboard. So there you have your cover. Okay, this is your chipboard part of your cover. All right, I'm gonna set that aside. Now next, there's a reason for my madness, and I will explain this to you. You are going to need 2 pieces of whatever cardstock you choose to use, whatever color you're using. 2 pieces of 8.5 by 8.5 cardstock. Those are going to fit together this way. And then you're going to need 2 pieces of 8.5 by 5 cardstock. Okay, so this is your 8.5 side. And these are going to fit, I'm not sure if you can see that, so I'm going to move this over, but these are going to go on the very ends. And the reason why I do this is because I do not want my seam in the paper anywhere near my spine. So if you see here, I have it laid out, and I hope you can see that. So you're going to have one seam of your paper is going to be in the very dead center in the back, and then the other 2 seams are going to be dead center on the sides. You want to overlap these. I overlap mine half an inch. So there's an overlap of a 1/2 inch in the middle and on the 2 ends as well, and that puts this seam here that runs this way just about dead center if you line everything up correctly. And then you only need about 1 inch overhang all the way around. So that is why I cut my paper funny. I don't want this. I feel like if my seams are anywhere close to the spines or the creases in my spine, it's going to weaken the spine. So that's why I do it that way. And then also, I just think once you get the paper over it, to me, it looks neater. So I'm going to do that, and I use score tape for this. You don't have to, but I do. So I'm going to pick this score tape up. I ran out of 1/2 inch score tape, so I'm kind of stuck with, I'm stuck with 1/4 inch, but it works just fine. I'm going to put this all together and try to do this quickly. So, and here's another good thing about having this mat is that you can, I don't know if you can see, I hope my big head's not in the way this whole time. You can line this up, and then you can get your paper lined up on here before you actually kind of stick it down. Okay. All right. use this little pick from Tim Holtz. I love this thing. Okay, and here, this is my piece. It's my piece. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to line this all up nice. Okay. And the same thing on this side, which I hope you can see. Pieces go flying everywhere. But this'll, I love this mat because, like I said, everything gets put on nice and straight, hopefully. Okay. All right, so there are your joined pieces. All right, and now you want to take your cover piece. Okay, so what I do is I flip this over, and I probably won't do this on camera, but when I come back I'll show you. So I take my score tape and I will do all of the edges all the way around each section, and the rest I will fill in with glue. Some people score tape the whole thing, some people glue the whole thing, but this is just my preference. So I'm going to do this all around the edges, and I'm going to avoid my open sections here because I don't want the tape in there. So I will be right back.